Hey traders, Jason here from Leavitt Brothers. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. One more full week of trading before we get 2 interrupted weeks for Christmas and New Year's. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use multiple moving averages on multiple time frames to identify trades. Okay, nothing fancy, no proprietary stuff. Everything I use is available for free with any charting platform you can get your hands on. Okay, before I get started, remember, check out my Masterclass in trading course. There's a link below this video. Go check that out. All right, let's get to this one. All right, so first of all, so here's my general setup. I have this spread out over more than one monitor. Let me show you what it is. It's basically like I can put a ticker in and it populates in all these different time frames. So what I have here, I mean, this is the monthly. Okay, there. This is the weekly. This is the daily. Okay, so this one is a 3-day chart, so it's right in the middle of the weekly and the daily. This is the 195 chart. Okay, so it's a half a day, 2 candles make a day. This is the 130 chart, so it's 3 candles make a day. This is a 65-minute chart. I sometimes use the hourly, sometimes use a 65-minute. It doesn't matter. There's no magic number here. It doesn't really matter. You can use either one. I go back and forth. Sometimes I use them either one. The 65 is nice because you get 6 candles in a day versus the hourly chart, which has a 30-minute candle and then the rest of them are 60 minutes. And then I got a 15 and a 5. Okay, so I plop a ticker in, and then it populates in all the time frames, and then I literally, like, I stand back and I want the stock to talk to me. I want the charts to talk to me. I'm looking for something. Where's the trend? Where are pullbacks? Where are key levels? What moving averages and what time frames are most in sync with the stock? For example, if I'm looking at this is the S&P 500, so I can see that the monthly is in sync with the 50 over here and the 50 over here. Over in the weekly, it's the 200 that's in sync over there. Okay, and you can see on the 3-day chart, the 50 is not bad in there. Okay, and so my eyes will go from time frame to time frame. You can see the 200 over here on the daily. Okay, so my eyes will go, chart from one time frame to the next. I'm just looking for something. I see some resistance over here, and then some support there. I see some support on the 200 on this time frame. So I'm looking for if one particular price level is supported by several different moving averages and several different time frames. That's really interesting for me because that confluence is very powerful. All right, so let's go through some trade examples from just the last couple of weeks. All right, so here's BE. Okay, what I have here is the daily. I have the 65-minute chart and the 15. All right, so for starters, what I see here is I see a move up, consolidation, and then I'm looking to play a continuation to move up. I actually lost money on this right over here because I was, moved up, consolidation was supported right here by the 8 EMA. But when it gapped down there, I was out, lost a small amount of money, stepped aside. And then as the stock came down here, started getting support at $5, which is a big whole number, which also got support over here, I started getting more interested. All right, so then I come over here to the 65-minute chart. I see that the 8 moving average and the 21 moving average are narrowing. Okay, they come together to a point where they're basically at the same level, and then you get this big move here on pretty good volume over here. Okay, that ignites it. Okay, we got a strong stock which is up, comes back, is in consolidation mode, and then we get this big up day, or big up hour, I should say, on decent volume that ignites the move. Then look, check this out. You got the 8 EMA on this time frame supports the stock all the way up, and at the same time you have the 21 EMA on this time frame, which supports the stock all the way until today. Okay, so strong stock. I like the stock in the daily because it's up, down, and I'm looking for it to reignite. We get a strong move here that reignites it, and then I see the 8 on this time frame and the 21 on this time frame both support the stock. So you get 2 different time frames and two different moving averages on 2 different time frames, both support the stock in the same area. That's where I'm going to zoom in and look for entries. All right, here is CRC. All right, so what we have here is I see a little base here. Now, this is a weak stock in a weak group, but I saw a little base here that was interesting. and then I see this, it gets ignited. It's got this big day here on this big volume here. Okay, so that ignites it. That kind of gets my attention. Okay, that big up day is this one here. Okay, then you'll see here on, I should say, this is the daily, this is the 130, that's a 65. So on the 130 chart, the 21 moving average is pretty good support. It's also pretty good support on the 65-minute chart. A little sloppy here, but because 8's a whole number and 8 was resistance over here, I'm going to give it a little bit of room, and you can see how it just goes up. Also, if you're familiar with how I do moving averages, I look at something like this where the 8 comes down to the 21, kisses it, and then moves back up. Okay, so we got a weak stock and a weak group, but it gets ignited by this big up day on big volume. Okay, consolidates over here. Okay, which is, you know, this area right here. Bounces off the 21 twice, breaks out, comes down and tests the 21 a couple times, and then moves up again. That 21 moving average was also relevant on the 65-minute chart. Okay, so it's not a huge mover, okay, but if you were buying a dip within the range over here and you know, in the mid to high 7s, and now the stock's up at 9, it's not a bad trade. Okay, you're only in it for, you know, you're in it for less than 2 weeks, and you made close to 20%, so not bad. Here is Shopify. Okay, a couple things I was looking at. So we had a resistance kind of here, another resistance here. Notice how the 50, I should say, this is the daily, it's a 195 chart, 130 chart. Notice how the daily is resistance here, but then the daily acts as support here. Okay, the 50 on the 195 chart is nice support in here. Okay, the 200 on this time frame is nice support right there. Okay, so this right there is the same as this, is the same as this. So we have the 50 on 2 of the time frames and the 200 on another time frame are all pointing to the same place being potential support. Okay, so you want to zoom in there, lower time frames, look for an entry. Stock then moves up. Okay, here you get like a consolidation pattern here. Okay, I'm going to erase that one. So notice on this time frame, you have the 8 EMA there, you have the 21 EMA there, and you have the 21 EMA there. Okay, so again, you have different moving averages on different time frames, all point to the same place being support, or support being in the same area, and there it goes. It breaks out, takes out the high here, and now it's up, you know, several more points. Okay, so again, stand back, look at multiple moving averages, multiple time frames, see which moving averages are most in sync with the stock, and if you get, you know, one moving average on this time frame happens to pinpoint another, you know, the same area on another time frame, which pinpoints the same area in another time frame, it's powerful stuff. You want to zoom in and look for entries there. Okay, one more chart here. Here is SVM. I said a while ago on my web at Lever Brothers that this is one of my favorite gold and silver stocks. All right, so you have a resistance level over here. Okay, so the stock moves up, consolidation mode, moves up again. So I'm looking for a reassertion of this trend. Okay, I love this up, consolidation up. I mean, I look for that all the time. So we got a resistance level there, resistance level there. A couple things I want to point out. Notice the support here at the 21. Okay, I should point out that's a daily, 195, 65, and 15. Notice support at the 21 is there is exactly the same as the 50 there. Okay. Notice that once this starts moving, you know, the 8 supports it pretty well there. The 21 supports it pretty well there. The 50 pretty supportive there, and of course then the 200 is pretty supportive there. Okay, 4 different time frames, 4 different moving averages, all point to the same levels being key. Okay, so there are entries there. Okay, but it starts with the fact that this is a strong stock, consolidation, and then breakout again. Okay, so I want to look at the monthly and the weekly, the longer time frames to make sure I have the wind at my back. But once I see that, then I'm looking for these different moving averages at different time frames to see where, you know, the key levels are. Okay, so I would consider this to be somewhat of a low risk trade. Okay, strong stock in an improving group that has support from different places all at the same level. And so that's, you get in, you're risking a very small amount for the possibility of making a bunch, okay? If you're getting in at levels like right here and right here, you're risking 10, 15 cents for the possibility of making a buck or more, okay? It's a pretty good risk reward. All right, so again, here's my setup. I plop in a ticker just to repeat, just to drive it home. I plop in a ticker, it populates in all the different windows. Then I stand back and I listen and I let the charts talk to me. Okay, I try to identify what moving averages and what time frames are most in sync with the stock. And if different moving averages and different time frames all point to the same price levels, I get really interested because that type of confluence is very powerful. Okay, everything I do is simple. You guys have heard it. Keep it simple. I don't have any proprietary stuff. I kind of laugh when people say they have proprietary stuff. I think it's crap. You don't need anything beyond just like the basics and what's offered for free on all charting platforms. Okay, thanks for listening. And again, check out my masterclass at the link below. I'll see you next time.